Hi everyone, it's Dr. Phil back. It's Monday, March 30th. We're going to check the results from our plates from Friday. So these have had about 72 hours to sit at room temperature and grow. Hopefully we've inhibited the growth using our disinfectants or our antimicrobials. So on the left here you'll see we have our disinfection plate. On the right is our antimicrobial plate. So I've numbered these backwards 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, one for disinfectants, one for antimicrobials, because we run on the back of the plate. So when we flip them over, I want you to orientate yourself to the 1, 2, 3 direction. It's going to go from right to left, all right, not left to right like we're used to. All right. So if you remember, disinfection 1 was 10% bleach solution. Disinfectant 2 was Quats, germicidal cleaner, and number 3 was ActiBrite floor cleaner deodorizer, which once again is what I use for the counter. So I was hoping that would be the most effective. As usual, science will prove me wrong. Antimicrobials, on the right we had penicillin in the 1 position, erythromycin in the number 2 position, and in the number 3 position we had triple sulfa. Which was an inhibitor for folic acid synthesis, important for DNA replication, as we learned in lecture. So I am going to try to zoom in and out. I don't have anyone helping me today, so God help us all with the results here. So let's take a look. All right. So I'm going to bring the plate up. All right. So if you guys can see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We have the E. coli and Staph aureus, E. coli on the top, Staph aureus on the left. And remember, the orientation is going to be backwards when we flip it over. Let me grab the other plate here real quick. All right, so that's E. coli and Staph aureus, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, these are our antimicrobials. All right, I'm going to zoom it up again with the cover off and then flip it over. So once again, this is our 3, 2, 1 orientation from left to right. All right. E. coli on the top, Staph aureus on the bottom. Take a look at that. And if you look, we're not zooming in too much. If you look at the top, number 2 is a clear winner. We have a zone of inhibition at the top and a big zone of inhibition on the bottom. And, let me eat my words here. We said that I thought the Quats didn't do a whole lot, but on this plate it did. If you look to the left of the Staph aureus, all right, in position 3 we have the ActiBrite floor cleaner. Has a slight zone of inhibition on that. If you don't have a measuring stick to measure it, I will get one here in a second, possibly. I think I forgot to grab that. We can take a look there. Right. And there is our antimicrobials. There are our antimicrobials. From left to right, we have 3, 2, 1. We have penicillin, erythromycin, and triple sulfate. And let me pan that right. So if you look, it looks like in the number 2 position, erythromycin with the E. coli on the top has a slight cloudy zone of inhibition, slightly on the bottom too. So I will pause the video and we'll zoom on that real quick. Maybe. So let me just zoom this in. Sorry, like I said, I don't have anyone helping me today. So let me just grab a ruler super quick. If you look there, we had to measure that out. We could see what's going on here. Right? But this one clearly has the biggest zone of inhibition. Right? So remember in lab I said, how could we tell if this was germicidal or germostatic? Right? Cidal means it kills it all. Static means it just kind of slows down its replication. So literally, if I don't shake my hands too much, I would flame my loop. There, flame it. and I could theoretically grab a piece off that zone of inhibition, right? And if I were to, let's say theoretically, swab a plate here, right? If something actually grew, we would know that it was static, not cytal. If nothing grew, we would know it was cytal because everything around it was dead. So, like I said, with this, we can't tell if there's any live bacteria there. We can't actually take their pulse or respiration, so we have no idea whether they're alive or dead. But we could swab that and see if there's anything growing. It might have just been inhibited. If we were to plate it and it grew, we would know that that was static, although it stands still, not cytal. It didn't kill it completely. All right. Taking a look at our antimicrobials here. I'll try to get that angle right. All right. Not as effective as I would have hoped. All right, but if you look at the top, middle, looks like there's a slight zone of inhibition. If you look really close, you could see that there's kind of a halo or ring around it. So we could say that's possibly effective. If you look at the bottom, I don't know if you can really see that, but around that disc number 2 in the middle, bacteria didn't grow real well. It grew, but it was a little bit of a halo. So I would say possibly it's been 72 hours. So initially the first 24, first 12, or whatever, theoretically it would have possibly inhibited that slightly. But there could be a lot of things going on. It could be the, the age of the disc, or the concentration of the antimicrobial, the virulence of the E. coli or Staph aureus. There's a lot of contingent factors with this. Right? Just as a side note, if you guys saw the plate that I swabbed the E. coli off of last week, I said there were only a few colonies. You can see the colonies there, but when I swabbed it, look at the amazing amount of growth there. So it took those colonies, spread them out, and it completely colonized that entire plate over the weekend. Like guys, I'm going to pause this now, and I'm going to go into the throat and the foot swab.